Welcome back now to the bottom side of the playoffs bracket here on UPL Live. I am Camcom, joined by Regdor over there. Regdor, how are you doing tonight?
I'm good. Dyslexic, trying to point. Yeah, I don't know my left from my right, but I know a good game of League of Legends when I see one. Super excited to be back on UPL.
Yes. We are sticking with our best of 3 format here tonight. We have ImPerium, Vancuverii versus Blue Esports. Regdor, you've seen Blue Esports before, but ImPerium, I believe, is new here on the broadcast. So, second time versus first time here. Both of them coming in on the bottom side. So this is a do or die moment for both teams. You drop this best of 3, you're out of playoffs now.
Yeah, that's a real hard thing on a Friday night. When you put it like that, I was like super excited, and then I was like, wow, this is a little depressing. We are going to have to say goodbye to one of these teams. This is
someone's final game here.
Oh, prayer for whichever team you might be going for. But yeah, it is the number 3 seed from the Ocean Division for Team Blue, and then Cloud, second seed for ImPerium. I think the last series that we saw from Blue was very early on. Pretty standout performance. I'm trying to think back. I've slept since then, so don't remember as much. I just remember a disgusting Zac jungle in that game that sadly was not on Blue's roster.
Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, you do have the rosters up now. On the left side here for ImPerium, you have Shocky in the top lane, Deathful as your jungler, Toasty Alex in the mid lane, Crazy Goose as your AD carry, and Rafa 20 as your support.
Over on the opposite side of the screen, we do have Diesel up in the top lane, Fearzen in the jungle, Juke Jouster in the mid lane, the lovely Avril in the ADC position, finally 9 lives at support.
Couple of recognizable names here, definitely for us, Regdor. I'm looking towards the top side here. Shocky versus Diesel. I think both of these players play very strong side, actually, is what I was trying to go with there, but I forgot the strong side. So I'm expecting a pretty heavy, no tanks. We're not going to see any Orns here tonight, I don't think, Regdor.
I'm super excited because I had one of those moments where you forgot that you knew something and then you remembered it. You'd love to feel that on a final test where you're like, I don't know what I'm doing. Then you're like, wait, I do remember.
5 minutes left. You're like, oh yes, yeah. They don't do that. Yes, X doesn't equal Y. I don't know. It's math.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely. So math does math in the sense that the wonderful Juke Jouster, I do remember from that series, playing the Gangplank mid into his ear. And just at midway through the game, just exploding onto the map was a huge comeback in game number 2 for them. So Juke Jouster, not the simplistic champion pool that you might expect, may have some goofy, wacky, inflatable arm man kind of picks coming out.
You think there's going to be a Zac jungle? I've been seeing a lot more recently Zac top. I just said that we're not going to have a Zac or a tank top laner, but do you think Zac could 1v9 on the top role?
No,
Okay.
I don't
Maybe
like
maybe
these.
just in my solo queue games then. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of Zach Tops recently, and I don't know where this is coming from. Did someone play in a pro play and I just missed that game? Like, it's coming from somewhere.
Somebody said, what if we took a tank jungler and put them in the top lane and gave them Ignite? What would that do? And you're like, oh, it would give this really cool thing where I can abuse Demonic Embrace, have kill pressure, and get to be a huge engage for the team. So I can see, like, the mindset and it works, but I don't know, like, if we're going to see that. I feel like Sejuani may still be a priority up on the top side because you both get to be tank and kill. So we all love that. You just got to get rid of, like, I think Fiora. And then you're pretty Gucci.
Now, Regdor, I have a very important question here. You probably already know the question. What are the chances we have a Bel'Veth?
At least 8 out of 10.
Okay.
8 out of 10 chance.
I'll take it. That's a pretty good chance.
Yeah, that's like 80% if I can do math. I don't know my direction, but I can count to 10. Which is just as many fingers.
Nope. Oh, it switched now. Okay, you're this way now.
I did it. No, I didn't. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Do I Know My Left from My Right?
Wait, no, I have to look this way. Hello.
No, I'm not. We're going to screw this up. But hopefully what won't get screwed up is the draft. ImPerium is starting on the all-important blue side.
Yes.
So we're going to have to see what the strong pick is. Maybe it is that Bel'Veth.
Maybe it is that Bel'Veth. I think Seraphine, Wukong, and Lucian are all probably still all the highest priority on the B1. You could probably ban 2. I don't think you ban all 3. You probably could ban 1 or 2 of them, but absolutely, I think any of those that are left up most likely will be the B1 of choice, unless there's something even more spicy. Maybe it's a B1 Bel'Veth. They're hearing me right now. They're like,
You know what I've seen a big priority on lately has been Sivir. And Sivir, I do believe, is enabled now for UPL. Nyla still has to wait in the wins, take your time and time out, new champion. But rework Sivir scales a bit better, a lot more opting into the crit side of the house, so no more lethality Q spam, but more the old AoE teamfight monster that it's been. So a lot of people have been really liking that. I've seen some success in my solo queue games, which is totally the same elo as what we're watching here tonight.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think this is the first week Sivir is actually enabled, pretty sure, and then next week is the first week that Nyla will be enabled, so kind of like that 2-week grace period. Sivir was just a rework, so not as big as a whole new champion in the bot lane, but it is kind of funny that both of them are 80 carries. I did kind of forget that Sivir is one of those, like, you can probably pick her pretty early. I still think she mostly holds the role of a utility 80 carry, so if we are playing strong side top side, you're going to disagree with me, of course you will. I still think she's a utility 80 carry. I think there's a lot of other 80 carries that deal a lot more damage than she does, but she is still a very high... She does do a lot of damage, but if you're picking for a damage 80 carry, I think you could pick other choices.
Yeah, maybe. You know, I don't completely disagree. I know that with the mid-scope update, she did lose a lot of base stats, so she isn't as strong early, but she scales a lot better into the game. A lot of people have just been opting for the W Boomerang Max because of that AoE clear early on, as we do see the deer, gone out, deer, if you will, as well as the Seraphine. So now we get to see what ImPerium actually cares about here today.
I thought you were talking about Lily. I was like, well, what other deer is there in the game? Oh, yes, the one that has deer in the champion name, I guess. Yes, but the classic red side getting 2 bans plus Seraphine ban. So, Blue, congratulations, you did ban at least 1 champion here, as our B1 of choice will actually be Ziggs. Still a flex potential between a mid and 80 carry, but based on Toasty Alex's most recent champ pool, I would like to think it's going to 80 carry.
That is different. That's something we don't usually see, but Ziggs is a very hard champ to get the push into in the mid game, and is super safe. And like you were talking about earlier, playing towards Diesel, playing towards Shocky, if they can think that it's going to be the weak side bot, he does have a lot of early wave clear to keep the dive away and just kind of be safe with those bouncing bombs. But there's the beautiful Wukong that you don't usually get to see on the red side.
No, you don't usually get Wukong on the red side. Still flex between top and jungle, but most likely will be placed in the jungle just thanks to all of his recent buffs. You can go over walls now with your Q. You can go invis a lot more often. You got a lot of damage buffs to camps as well, as that's the word. But Gangplank blind pick here, most likely for Diesel. Is it going to be for Juke Jasto again, though?
Yeah, that's the great part here, is that who knows? It could be, it can
know.
go either way. And there's a lot of really good picks out there right now, but Gangplank is definitely one of the top ones. But there is the weapon. Never mind. The weapon of just juking me out. But that is Kindred, a champion that has been seeing a lot more love here as we've gotten into the durability patch, but a very game-warping jungler that you have to play for. And it feels like lately, junglers have been playing for lanes, not lanes playing for the jungler. So definitely a different look already coming out the bait from ImPerium.
Yeah, typically when you pick a jungler like Kindred that requires a lot of resources, you need 3 winning lanes, or at least 2 winning lanes that have a lot of push pressure, because Kindred, you have to go for these really scary invades, right? Like, I think Deathful does play a lot of Kindred as well, so he's probably very comfortable for going for these invades, but you need 2 winning lanes, or at least 2 pushing lanes. Ziggs Lulu is absolutely a very safe, able to push very easily lane. Ziggs, his best spot is underneath your tower, not his own tower. So that's at least one comfort lane that Deathful could play for. It's the bottom side.
Hey, and there's the Renata Glass.
Ooh.
We love it. We love to see it. Definitely the Enchanter versus Enchanter matchup down in the bottom side. This is the most Yordles I've gotten to see in a hot minute in one game. Lulu's been getting some love, but not so much Ziggs as we enter in the second round. I'm really excited because, like you said, we still have the flex potential for the side of Blue Esports with the Wukong as well as the Gangplank. And so there's a lot of different directions that they can go. But not having their ADC locked down yet, and assuming that Ziggs is going to the bottom side, I feel like we're going to start seeing some tightening down on that pool with the Jinx showing up as the first ban there.
Yeah, I guess Blue is actually assuming that it's Toasty playing the Ziggs here. If they are banning Jinx, says I'm out here assuming that it's Crazy Goose playing Ziggs, but I could be very wrong here. But yeah, it is a Lulu Renata bot lane matchup. Most likely, you do pair these up with very high damage hyper carry type AD carries. But I mean, if you're going for the safe style with the Ziggs Lulu, I still think that's also a double Yordle buff as well to the bot lane.
Yeah, and look at them already getting rid of the Callista, so one of the most prolific, early game do damage type comps. We still have like the Lucian Nami out there as well, and yeah, the Draven, or the Lucian. You can't have Nami. Renata Glass, not a solo lane. But yeah, still a lot of early game proactivity there that can try to abuse this Ziggs as we again think going to the bottom side of the map, gonna throw some bouncing bombs and just farm up here and just be that piece, especially when you have a Kindred. You don't need the same kind of like DPM, but there it is. Miss Fortune, huge fan. I think the champion's in a really great position, and with the changes to Eclipse, even more move speed. We love a fast AD carry.
Even more movement speed and a lot of poke pressure between the Renata Misfortune bot lane here, as you do have a slight wombo combo now. I mean, whenever you have the bullet time, you can pair that up with really any other ultimate of a support, and usually that does kind of turn into a mini wombo combo. But then you also, on top of that, have the GPL, you have a Wukong ult as well. Like, all of these that just kind of like go in one small circle. You put all of that together, anyone in this circle is going to die. And they're not so crucially important that you have to land them all at the same time. Like, GPL, you could throw at any time, really, and it's probably going to be helpful. But, I mean, Misfortune ult, you kind of got to pair with something. Renata ult is kind of helpful. It can lock him down at least a little bit in it, but that's a little Sonder lock-in, so I am assuming now that it's the Sonder mid lane here for Toasty Alex and Ziggs AD carry. I would like to think.
We'd like to think at this point that we understand what's going on. But, yeah, Blue Esports feels like what you call, like, the put them in a box comp. Just in this circle of different AoE abilities that just make you have a bad day. But finally, we do get the Mordekaiser. So it does seem... I'm not absolutely sure yet because a lot of these champions can go to different spots. Okay, so it is going to be the...
Oh, GP mid.
I was like, yeah, GP mid. That's huge, especially into Lissandra, who has not a lot of great push early on. Doesn't have a lot of the same tools that GP has with the barrel setup and combos. And I've already seen Juke Jouster play that into Azir, a very poke-heavy lane, and able to get the upper hand there. So it feels like Toasty Alex is going to have a little bit to try to work out here to survive the early game.
And the biggest part here that I'm looking for ImPerium is the support that Deathful is going to have on these invades. He has a lot of support on the bot side of the map. I don't think Shocky on a Gwen is going to be able to go for many invades. Gwen is a very resource-hungry champion on her own. She's going to want to stay in her lane more than anything else, I think. So I think it is mostly going to be invades on the bot side, playing towards Dragon that's there for Deathful and his bot side. And then on the other side, you have a lot of safety. You have a lot of scaling. Even Diesel up there on the top side, right? It's not as big of a hyper carry as Gwen for him, but he is still, I mean, Mordekaiser. You get him a couple kills in the early game, he's going to keep that Gwen out for as long as possible.
Yeah, I think that the two interesting points is, one, for the top side of the map, Gwen did just get a mid-scope rework. So
yes.
The dash on her E don't get as much refunded off of auto attack. So that early rundown, level 1, level 2 that you like to see, those aggressive trades, not as effective anymore. As well as the ult, which is kind of the positive piece of we can use the needlework without the melee resets to be able to kind of chase down. So it's more of a gap closer than what it used to be. But nonetheless, this is a change that we saw kind of affect the early game for Gwen and for Shocky. And like you said, Deathful needs pushing lanes, needs lanes that can rotate and support the what I call the Kindred mini game of you're going to win the 50-50 RNG on top side or bottom for that first mark. Yep. And I think that Blue is playing very smart against it. The two parts that in my mind is, one, you have one AD threat from the side of ImPerium. So MR is super valuable in this game. Things like Spirit Visage, like for Mordekaiser, he can just run this down, and then how do you stop him? How do you kill this thing? Because you only have Deathful, and if they don't get to 4 marks, 7 marks, they don't keep on accelerating the game and they're scaling, well, then it's very hard to actually play this for the side of ImPerium.
Very hard to play this, but I am just now realizing as well with the slight wombo combo that I was talking about a little bit for the bot lane of Blue Esports, Deathful and Shocky have probably the two best abilities in the game, the ultimate and the W respectively, to be able to cancel out any sort of wombo combo. You can drop a Lamb's Respite, all of a sudden, Cannon Barrage, useless. Bullet Time, useless. Renato's ultimate that I can't remember the name of, also pretty useless. You can't really use any of these things when you have to play around Deathful's ultimate, and obviously Shocky with the Hollowed Mist on the W as well. Yes, Hostile Takeover, thank you. He can block the abilities from himself, can't block them from his teammates, but even that will still be helpful in a fairly short cooldown later in the game.
No, absolutely. And I think the point is getting to the spot where, you know, you can actually do that. If you can get down the Lamb's Respite, absolutely great. But if you just get blown up before you get to that point, feels bad. And that's going to be the biggest part for ImPerium, is trying to use this early game push on the bottom side of the map, and what should be the early push from the top side, to be able to have, like you said, these winning lanes for Deathful to play around. I'm a little, what's the word? Worrisome in the mid lane, because Lissandra isn't really a great champion at that point. We're not known for like super heavy 1v3, and Juke Jouster is somebody we've seen play this gangplank to pretty aggressive perfection here on UPL. And if Toasty drops 1 or 2 kills, well, then it starts to become a little unplayable.
Toasty has also opted for the slightly more aggressive Lissandra runes. The two build paths that I know most often are Aftershock versus Electrocute. Aftershock obviously being the more safer option, Electrocute doing a little bit more damage in the early game. So Toasty does know that he has to play for the early game at least a little bit here with a Kindred jungler. So locking that Electrocute instead of an Aftershock should give him a little bit of a damage boost, as down here in the bot lane, a little bit of poke. It is Enchanter versus Enchanter, so there is a lot of poke between the two supports, but I don't think there's going to be many kills in the early game with the Ziggs.
No, and I want to highlight that Avril has chosen to take TP as opposed to exhaust or heal. So choosing this utility summoner spell versus a combat summoner spell could make a bit of a difference down here in the bot lane. Maybe just matching the Crazy Goose, who's also chosen to take TP, but a little bit more meta for Ziggs than for Misfortune.
Also on the top side as well, Diesel has opted to take Ignite to match Shockey's Ignite. Shockey not opting to take Flash, so he gets to have the teleport instead. But Diesel will be able to match at least the early game pressure in the 1v1s. Maybe not so much match the pressure in the late game with split pushing, as we've got a level 2 trade up here on the top side. Diesel flashing in, but missing the last auto attack will just fall in the 1v1 to Shockey.
Yeah, and that was less than 100 health that Shockey got out with. But you know what they say? It doesn't matter if you win by 1 HP or 100. A win is a win. That is first blood going over to Shockey, who able to leave the wave where it's at. And this is great if you're Deathful, already up there on the top side around Scuttle, which we love to see. And that hover from Toasty as well, just equaling what should be the first mark of the game, if my eyes do not deceive me. And that's great if you're a Kindred fan.
Rafa does get handshaked into the extra poke from Avril's W or E even there as well. So just, yeah, it's a very hard lane to play for Crazy Goose and Rafa. They're probably not going to have a whole lot of push or a whole lot of HP down here in the bot lane. As looking back up on the top side, Shockey coming back in the lane, not TPing back, walking back with a Dark Seal, and Deathful now on the board with his first gank of the game. Diesel, no flash, no ignite, just a little bit of a shield, will be able to walk out of that one safely, but he's forced to recall. Once again, getting pushed off of a whole lot of experience in the top lane.
And this is a bad spot to be. Diesel definitely not going to be on the strong side of this matchup at the moment. Now down a considerable little bit of CS after this wave gets collected by Shockey. And it's good, at least in the sense that you're making some real work down on the bottom side. Avril and 9lives having control of the lane thus far. And it's only going to look a bit harder. Make it rain. Is a super oppressive ability with that Arcane Comment. Depending on some room choices, you can also take Cheap Shot and Scorch, and those two just equal just more and more pain for the freedom of just trying to walk up and approach the wave until you get on that Eclipse, and then you're really, in team fight, all-in territory with the Renata Glass there in the lane. So the first Dragon coming up, and Avril being in a little bit of trouble here.
Avril is forced to flash away from Crazy Goose and Rafa, unfortunately walking up a little bit too far without the help of her support there, so just kind of having to force out that flash early on means she won't have flash once she does hit level 6, so that's going to give a little bit more level 6 pressure to ImPerium. Not that I think, again, Zigzlu is going to be getting any 2v2 kills anytime soon. It's just a very oppressive lane still. Misfortune Renata, it is very hard to play against without just constantly being half your HP, a quarter of your HP, and you just see, you need biscuits, you need the refillable pots. Crazy Goose and Rafa, they're doing an excellent job of just trying to get as much push without dying as they can.
And I'll also be interested, because Misfortune has so many different build paths right now, with the Comet. Oh, wow. Woof, but bit of damage there.
Crazy Goose
might just go down. Supportal
he has
combat.
Flash, a little bit of a shield there from Rafa as well, but not a whole lot of mana. The Cannon Barrage secures a double kill coming in from the mid lane there for Juke Jouster. Just such an early level 6 in the mid lane there compared to the bot lane.
Yeah, and that alone just affects both sides of the map. Avril and 9lives now get the free push out and reset, and really get to sack a wave or two here against the enemy bot lane. Now Juke Jouster's up 2 kills in the lane without having to kill the laner themselves. That is a pretty great feeling to have. He's going to be coming back to lane with that Sheen as well as the Coalfield Warhammer. So sitting on some nice components as well as getting the Drake, like all things are turning up roses for Blue Esports here in the early game.
Turning up Blue Esports, winning the mid lane matchup without having to win the mid lane matchup is one of my favorite parts of playing any sort of mid laner with any sort of global ultimate, as it's just the poke power of the bot lane. You get low enough for a Cannon Barrage, you better believe a Cannon Barrage is coming down here to the bot lane. Toasty Alex, I don't think he's getting any double kills this early on in the game. Of course, Lysandre does have a lot of roam pressure, but doesn't have the same global map pressure that a GP does the second he hits level 6.
And now that GP is starting to get some items, some AD in his kit, those barrels are able to keep the push into Toasty more, which just kind of forces them to stay in the lane. Hopefully start to look. Deathful did do some counter jungling up there on the top side, picking up that red buff away from Blue Esports, and really looking to start getting proactive in the lanes. Has the challenging smite, almost level 6. That's what you want to do, is start snowballing this Kindred ahead here, especially with the lovely Shelly coming up soon, as me and you've always talked about. Shelly only wants to do two things, and that is dance and take towers, and we'd love if Kindred enables that.
Yes, please, Deathful. Come on, take the Rift Herald. It's unfortunately not a Bel'Veth. Bel'Veth is by far my favorite champion because she can actually take Rift Herald and just makes even more tiny Rift Heralds with the Rift Herald. Jukejouster there, really nice gank from Deathful. Rafa a little bit late on that one as well, but if Jukejouster didn't flash, they're 100% dead to the 3-man.
Yeah, it burned in the ultimate from Toasty Alex as well, but really giving him that early priority as Rafa is up here on the top side now with the Herald coming up. Looks like they're going to try to make a strong play for it. And the Crazy Goose is just going to vibe it out on their own down here on the bottom side. Reason you pick Ziggs, able to absorb this pressure well and stand underneath this tier 2 and farm underneath the tier 1 sort of thing.
Rafa easily able to roam up with Deathful, claiming, I believe that was the second mark now for the Kindred, starting this first Rift Trail now as well. Jukejouster and friends don't have the help of their support here quite yet. 9 lives arriving slightly late to this potential team fight here. No level 6s on the supports, but there's the original engage. Jukejouster just gets immediately one shot before the fight even starts. Lamb's respite is dropped, but is it dropped fast enough for Imperium to be able to run out to safety? Double kill coming out now for Diesel, already using the flash. Death Realm being popped onto Deathful, lives with just 1 HP thanks to a little bit of extra healing on the rep, but walking in into range once again will now fall 2-1 in the favor of Blue Esports. Richard's up for the taken.
Yeah, and that was a hot and wild fight there around this first Herald. Durability patch meaning less engages, not so much. We all love to fight for the first Herald, and you can start to see the clashing kind of styles come into play, where they both kind of have this wombo combo of Toasty Alex going in and being that main form of engage, and then the burst damage from Deathful and Shocky kind of coming in afterwards. But the counter engage from the side of Blue Esports also especially strong. We saw and we've seen before what that hostile takeover can do in these cramped jungle situations.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, you can see some of this early game power coming out, leading to Blue having a little bit of that 2k gold lead.
Everyone, no, please. Just leave the Crazy Goose alone. He's just trying to farm. Oh my goodness, Avril bringing all our friends down here in the bot lane as well. Even jumping the cannon barrage. I mean, for all the numbers, Crazy Goose just got 4-man basically down here in the bot lane. They will be able to take most likely this entire tower worth of plate share between it 3 members for the trading of the first Rift up on the top side for Imperium.
And that's a good trade at the end of the day because of the push power that Avril and 9 Lives can have. Getting them unlocked and getting an early first tower in trade for that Rift Herald isn't a bad thing because you get Gangplank into the side lane to be able to scale up, and you're able to kind of hold position around this tier 1, maybe get some more plating into the hands of this bot lane that just really wants to scale in. Based off of itemization, it does look like Avril may be going the Leandry's route.
Jukejouster, no flash available. Doesn't even have a cannon barrage to attempt to turn this one back around just for safety. Rafa burning his own wild growth on himself to make sure he lives it through. And yeah, it's just a really nice gank in the mid lane, but here comes the counter gank. Avril coming in with a huge bullet time as well. Ferran's a little bit late on the Cyclone, just not timing it correctly there with the bullet storm as well. So he'll just fall 2 for 0 now again in the favor of Imperium.
Yeah, and that was just a really great play set up. Said you're going to put pressure on the top side. We're going to go mid. And then the counter engage, just a really good ultimate from Toasty Alex to extend out the play, waste kind of most of the DPS there, and then be able to turn it back around once again. So overall, though, like we said, bot lane's moving to the mid, getting Jukejouster down there into the side lane where Gangplank loves to be, and try to maybe farm a bit more with what is kind of a more expensive build for Avril, looking to go towards Leandry's Torment and then Sorrel Grudge after that. Used in a lot of matchups where you don't feel like you're going to be able to safely go in and auto-attack a lot. So a lot of the emphasis being put around the bullet time and make it rain.
Yeah, a lot longer range type, and you can definitely get a lot more poke off as well as both ultimates being burned on the top side, but Diesel, just the sheer tankiness of himself, is able to survive through once again both of the ignites popped as well. Diesel killing Shocky in the death realm as well. Also gets to pick up a little bit of extra AP stats. Can he live the dive though as well? Deathful has Lamb's respite available. Shutdown will fall to Rafa, unfortunately, there for Deathful, but 1 for 1 in favor of, I would say, Imperium getting a nice shutdown there for themselves as well.
And I think that was another mark as well for
Yes.
Deathful. So we should be around the 4 marks. Yeah. if I can do math, I have every finger up except for my thumb on one hand. So that should be 4. As we just continue to trade out here with the lane swaps continuing on. Duke Jouster showing his arithmetic abilities there as well with a nice little double barrel combo under the tower. But yeah, it's pretty similar powers as we see Diesel and Shocky kind of going back and forth with these kills. And that's going to be something to really matter around the mid game when they start talking about side lane pressure. When knowing for being very, very obnoxious inside lane once they have that Riftmaker plus Nashor's Tooth, and has TP, where Diesel does not. So that means that every play that Blue Esports wants to make, they have to be incredibly aware of the vision around them, the flank angles that Shocky can come in on that Diesel just cannot follow with.
As of right now, though, neither top laner having boots, pretty much being in the exact same spot, full Riftmaker plus 1 extra item, and Diesel having tier 1 boots. I'm not calling those real boots, those are tier 1 boots. Those are slow man boots there, as Shocky still holding on to the Dark Seal, holding on to hope that eventually he will be able to start stacking that one up here soon. Very heavy invading, almost vertical jungling level here. Deathful taking the full top side. Diesel Force Splash away there as well. Cannon Barrage being dropped for some extra poke, but canceling out the engage there for Reds. Not going to be able to land the Cyclone, but the rest of them will fall to the Berserk. Can they live through the extra damage? Deathful, last member to stand for ImPerium. He will fall as well. 3 members for 2 in the favor of Blue Esports on the top.
Yeah, sometimes there's like this invisible sign on the map that says "Make play here" when you're playing against a kindred. Like that's what it means. That's the one downside is like, oh, I could see the mark, you could see the mark, and we kind of saw them setting up around it, saying, "I know you're going to go for this play," and this is again the perfect area for this wombo combo. Puts you in a box comp of Blue Esports to play around and say, you actually cannot get away from these ultimate abilities without burning flash, without doing some extraordinary stuff here, and leads to continuing now up to a 3k gold lead. You know, next Drake is up in about 2 minutes. They've been stacking the Drakes so far. So they're playing really well around these combinations thus far. And we haven't even got to the big points, right? Avril still doesn't have Leandri's Torment done. You know, GP sitting on 2 items, but really looking to get to 3 to start doing those really cool YouTube clips that you see sometimes where, whoop, they see me, I'm gone, sort of a moment. So it's just continuing to scale up for the side of Blue, and ImPerium trying to match, but not quite there yet. Haven't found the angle that they want.
No, I think Deathful is sitting on 5 stacks now. If he was able to pick up the stack off of the Krugs, Crazy Goose might be in a 1v1 here with Avril Toasty Alex, looking for a flash play onto Avril. She is just dead to that one up here on the top side, though. Diesel taking Rafa into the Death Realm. Not going to be able to kill him in the Death Realm, though, and with the Lamb's Rust popped immediately after. Not having enough damage. Rafa, even through the Ignite, is able to live on the lone little Lulu.
Oh, Lulu is quite the champion. That wild growth turns around so many situations there, able to live through the death round. And just a nice little pickup, another kill traded back. There's still signs of life. ImPerium gone, but not, or not gone yet. Down, but not out. That's a better phrasing right there.
Yes.
As they continue to trade out. Juke Jouster, though, able to get down some damage. I think Toasty Alex at this point on Lissandra, pretty strong, but without access to that ultimate. I don't think the all-in exists on the Juke Jouster yet, but they're able to just kind of strongly trade back and forth. Strongly worded letters.
Yes, and as much as I've been talking about the Dark Seal here for Shocky, he has gotten a couple stacks on now, but the more important one to look at is actually Toasty Alex with that flash kill that he got onto Avril in the mid lane. Actually now sitting on 7 Deathful, pulled over the wall, not going to be forced to flash, but will actually fall to the combination ultimates. There's the wombo combo, bullet time plus cannon barrage. Will take out Deathful. Not having that Lamb's Respite available almost means certain death if you are engaged on before one of these dragon fights. And the jungler being dead as well for Infernal Soul point for Blue should just mean they're able to stack now 3 dragons in a row. Very scary, very early soul if they're able to take the 4th one.
Yeah, and that's like the perfect scenario for the side of Blue Esports, having access to basically almost a poke style comp with these wombo combos and long-range abilities, and having Infernal Soul on top of it makes approaching any objective super hard. Toasty Alex, though, going in on 9 lives.
Toasty Alex not having the ultimate available here. 9 lives with the Berserk plus the W. Unfortunately, won't be able to pick up the kill before the W does run out. But Farin's coming in from the backside. Toasty Alex popping the ultimate to buy a couple of seconds for the rest of ImPerium to arrive on top of the stopwatch as well. 5 seconds in stasis. You cannot kill this man. 3-1-5. Looking for a Magi's next up.
Yeah, has all the stones in the Affinity Gauntlet basically at this point. Now going to upgrade to being a wizard. And this is the downside. Like, this is really great from the side of ImPerium, is Toasty Alex gets to extend plays out, for lack of better terms, with the access to the ultimate, with working on the, Zanya's Hourglass. It just continues to have ways to say, oh, you think you have this pick, but you really don't, and the collapses coming in again and again. A lot of resources wasted there, and the second Rift Herald going over to the side of ImPerium that are starting to kind of show up. Still down 3k gold, but making some really good plays to be able to get back into it.
ImPerium only able to take 1 tower right now. 2 of the 4, I believe. No, 3 actually, that Blue Esports has been able to take. 2 on the bot side, 1 on the top, still looking to crack open the mid lane here. I think Blue got both of the first dragons and ImPerium got both of the first Rift Heralds is how it ended up turning out for them. So with that second Rift Herald being popped up here on the top side, not even going to have to burn the first health crash on it. I don't know, the first 2,500 HP that loses on the first crash. So luckily with the help of a split pushing Gwen plus Ziggs plus Rift Herald, that is a very scary split push. You have to take an answer to this one.
Yeah, Juke Jouster said, I can do a little bit of poke, but now you can see from the new version of the needlework, able to do so much damage at a distance as the disengage, and almost, took Juke out in the process. Don't want to be handing over any extra shutdowns here, as the counterplay, the counterpunch that ImPerium has been setting up works. And Ziggs, like you talked about, has such a great ability to push in this game. Also, one of the reasons you pick him. You can't really get push into him here in the mid lane now, sitting on 1.5 items. And is able to just take down towers quicker than you can really think about it.
Very, very scary. Yeah, if you leave them alone in the side lane, you're losing a lot of towers, and that's kind of just been the down part of the early game here for ImPerium, right? Is they haven't been allowing a Crazy Goose or Shocky even to be in these side lanes. It's been constant fighting, constant dragon takes, these Rift Herald fights as well, and just playing around the marks has kind of pulled Crazy Goose and Shocky out of these side waves. You still even have a tower available in the bot lane for ImPerium to take Shocky, my friend. I don't think you want to be on that side of the map. He's picking up his 4th kill of the game now onto Shocky, and just this Dark Seal. This Dark Seal's making me very sad.
Yeah, and now they get to pressure the Baron off of that play, as you can see ImPerium.
All the time.
Ooh. Hey.
Okay, a little bit of poke. Still no Leandres. That's going to be a real scary when April finishes Leandres.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I'm pretty sure, can't see secondary runes, but I do believe Avril did take a hard trade here.
Oh my gosh, Toasty Alex! He just doesn't let you talk, Ragnar. I'm so sorry. Avril and 9 lives. Just one shot. Every time Toasty Alex gets flashed up, he clicks flash, he clicks salt, bot lane deleted. Well,
you talked about the Dark Seal, and Toasty said I need to get that back to full again, able to just eviscerate the bottom lane of Blue Esports there on that play. But I'm pretty sure that Avril took domination. It's the second tree. So Ultimate Hunter and Cheap Shot has kind of been the flavor there for that tree, as opposed to taking Inspiration, which is what we usually go with or attribute to the secondary runes Misfortune with this build. And so get a lot of uptime on it. And like you said, once you get onto the burn of Leandres, plus the fact that bullet time just converts that AP directly into AD. So it's just phenomenal. You get long range burn and great wave clear. And on top of that, a ultimate that gets to be up in the mid to late game every 30 seconds.
We're waiting. I don't think she's going to have that done before the Infernal Soul spawns here. 20 seconds. Current bot side prio is in the favor of ImPerium. Lots of deep vision by them as well. In Blue's jungle, this would be the first dragon that they are able to pick up if they are able to. Toasty Alex is very, very fed Shocky. Not even on a side lane for this one. No, he TP'd here. He will be here for the fight if they do decide to opt for it. And Blue Esports, they could just give it. They don't have to fight this Prince. Looking for some sort of steal angle over the wall. Not going to be allowed in the pit. ImPerium picking up their first dragon of the game. Bullet time coming down. Avril might just fall. Surviving a little bit longer. W, but still will not survive. Diesel over the wall in the pit as well. He's surviving for a long time there in the Death Realm with Shocky, just about able to survive through it over the wall, and Rafa just one-shots him. You know, you see a Lulu, you're dead. Crazy Goose, he didn't do the damage. That was all Lulu.
Yeah, it's the Lulu differential. In a really split fight from the side of Blue Esports, some behind the pit looking to make a play, and some actually out there in the river, which that just split of consciousness in the fight really was a boon for ImPerium, able to kind of just basically one-shot poor Avril. Shocky doing a lot of damage there. Like they say, scissors beats paper in the matchup, so it's really good that the comp is now starting to come online. You're starting to see the burst from the Kindred, from the Gwen, and as we've seen multiple times from Toasty, when they have that full up-round combo, able to just absolutely eradicate the back line of Blue Esports. And they really have to start looking for the angles that they did before, as they find another
Toasty again landing a double root here onto Frizz, as well as his clone. You can't even run away from that one. Deathful picking up yet another mark here. Diesel doesn't even have his own ultimate available. Deathful with the help of the Wild Growth as well. Double kill in the top lane with excellent help from Toasty Alex and Rafa. Top lane, 2 kills means there's a Baron on the table. You don't need a Dragon for a Baron. You just need a jungler. Shocky down in the bot lane, split pushing without TP. So if they do decide to fight for this Rift Herald or Baron even, they will not have Shocky available. But Avril and Nine Lives here all on their own. A little bit of extra poke there from the bomb, but they're just dead. You know, just another double kill. 2 double kills now in the favor of ImPerium. Shocky as well going for 1v1 on the Juke Jouster. He does have TP on the GP, but I don't think he can TP without low HP.
Oh, that was such an intelligent play from ImPerium, and especially Toasty Alex, just waiting in the wings, saying, I know that Avril and Nine Lives are going to try to get something back.
Guys,
yeah.
Oh my gosh, Cannon Break,
yes.
no! Deathful, no! Oh my gosh!
You know, I just said a really intelligent play from ImPerium, and it set up a lot of great things, but sadly the health bar is not there, and due to that, it looks like the Baron now gets flipped over to the side of Blue Esports
so
instead.
Great. Oh my gosh, Deathful dead for another 20 seconds. Ralph dead for another 10. 6k HP left on the Baron, but ImPerium all of a sudden doesn't have a jungler. Toasty Alex using that E for a little bit of extra vision, but Baron is just gone now in the favor of Blue Esports. Juke Jouster, again, doesn't even have to be there. The sheer pressure of the Cannon Barrage, killing Deathful, basically killing Rafa. Could have been a double kill if it wasn't an execute on Rafa, but yeah, it's just really nice turnaround there for Blue Esports, maintaining their now much smaller gold advantage, but still around 1,000.
Yeah, you know, that'll happen. There was a lot of good things there, but the global ultimate of Juke Jouster there, being a shining light in the darkness, able to save the Baron and pick up a kill of their own. Gosh, you know, you don't see that every day, but you do get to see it here in UPL, as now Blue Esports using the Baron, try to get these lanes kind of figured back out. The tier 1 mid still up for the side of ImPerium, and really gatekeeping the forward progression of Blue Esports thus far. You can see how hard it is to try to get pushed into a 2-item Ziggs, who's just eviscerating. I like the word eviscerate today, apparently. Obliterating these lanes, but they might see some obliteration right here.
Diesel going to pull Shocky into the Death Realm here, but doesn't get enough damage to actually just out-damage Shocky in melee range, and the answer is absolutely not. Shocky coming out of that with a comfortable amount of around a quarter of his HP, finally able to win the 1v1 inside the Death Realm, all on his own, coming out now with a couple more Dark Seal stacks. 9 lives? And 9 lives definitely cannot 1v1 the Kindred.
No, 9 lives wants to keep all 9 of them, so needs to back off there.
He's lost 4. He's got 5 left.
Yeah. That would be.
What happens if he gets 9 deaths, though?
Well, I don't think that'll happen.
Does he disappear from the map? Like, I don't understand.
It just becomes a 4v5 at this point? I don't know. Yeah. Let's just hope it never happens. How about that?
Okay.
The thing that does kind of, like, not blow my mind, but the thing that I would say for the side of Blue Esports, no big MR items built yet for, again, what is a mostly MR or AP based team from the side of ImPerium. Defensive options would be super smart if, you know, At this point, Diesel's not going to contest.
Friends looking for some sort of smite steal, is able to take it, giving his life over, but it is an Infernal Soul. Now secured for Blue Esports. Toasty unfortunately not going to land at the flash stun onto any members. Duke Jouster, they're running for his life. Doesn't have a flash of his own. The final E from Toasty will not connect onto any stuns, but one pick out of the jungler. Baron's not up for their take, and they did already lose that one once this game, but they have not successfully stalled the Mountain Soul, or Infernal Soul even. Blue Esports now 4-1. Now we have an Elder to flip in a couple of minutes, but might not even make it that long. Excellent stun once again onto Duke Jouster. He lives a little bit longer there in Lamb's Respite, but being knocked out of it, shut down now by Crazy Goose Diesel. Instantly taken Toasty Alex, bonk on the head. Nice setup victim for him. Avril down here in the bot lane, though. You forgot about her. You forgot about the Baron buff. There goes your inhibitor now for Imperium.
Yeah, Blue Esports doing a little bit of the switcherooski. Don't look at the bot lane, look at the mid lane where you can get some kills and lose an inhibitor on the play. And I don't know if the viewers at home saw it, but that was a lot of damage that Duke Jouster put out with one barrel onto Toasty Alex. That just set up Diesel for the bonk, the bonkening, if you will, in the death realm there. It's a wild time. Rally is now complete on Diesel. Maybe help out a bit. I don't think gonna slow down the march of Shocky in the side lane, which is much to the chagrin of Blue Esports right now. They cannot really play on two lanes. It took a lot of misplay, like smoke and mirrors, to be able to get Avril set up there on the bot side to get this push, which now means they have to play top side. 2 minutes until the next Baron is up. Maybe get down this tier 1 at some point before the Nexus.
I think if anyone sneezes on this mid lane tower right now, it is just going to fall. Like, Avril could probably walk up. Yep. Oh, no. I lied. Avril, please don't walk up. I was going to say walk up auto once and it would die. Avril did exactly that and almost died herself. I regret saying that. Avril, I will take full blame for that one myself. We had the same thought process. It didn't work.
People always say this in games. They're like, yeah, it's so... Now it is really so low. But before then, you're like, yeah, you just walk up and auto this. You take 2 tower shots. That ramping damage.
Oh no! Okay, they were able to take it. Flash coming up for Rins onto Rafa with that wild growth. It's able to live for quite a long time, but flashing straight into the waiting arms of Diesel will fall now himself. One member dead now for Imperium right before a Baron fight is about to start. Shocky TPing in, flashing in straight onto the waiting arms of 9 lives. Both supports now dead. Toasty Alex will be next up on the table, but with that, Zanya's as well, able to survive for a couple of extra seconds before falling once again himself. Diesel bringing Shocky into the death realm. We've seen this 1v1 a couple of times. Diesel, he finally is able to take down Shocky in the death realm, gets those extra shots, but will fall to deathful immediately after. Top laner's dead, mid laner's dead, support's dead. Baron up again in a couple of seconds.
And now we get another fight around Baron. We love to see it. And in Blue Esports, found the angle in the jungle in these nice little choke points where their ultimates do the most and create the most disparity in the team fight. We love to see that. It's getting to the point now where GP is doing a lot. Duke Jouster is online, 4 items strong, almost able to win out in the 1v1 versus Toasty Alex there, eventually falling to the team, but just a lot of homogenous damage from the side of Blue Esports. The wombo combos are real at this point. Again, there we go. There's a Spectre's count. We've got some MR on Diesel. We love to see it, and that should help Diesel frontline so much more when not in the death realm and help create space for what is, the barrel setup, the bullet time, and all these different pieces that makes Blue Esports function.
Death Bush waiting here. Deathful with the Death Bush here. 9 lives taking him out, of course, with HP 2 at the Death Bush, but Bullet Storm once again. Cannon Barrage coming out as well. How long can the Lem's Respite last? Gonna go gold at the end of it as well, and with that, Avril's ult will be wasted, but the final ticket that connects for the 150 shutdown. Very small shutdown, but the gold doesn't matter. That is a 45-second death timer now on the jungler. Baron is up on the table once again. Shocky, though. Shocky has arrived. The man with the damage for Rins in the back of the pit will die to the Baron as well. We have had 2 executes to the Baron. That's too many. money in this game, and that's 2 more than I expected. Shocky now attempting to keep the Baron alive, just keeping it at the low HP that it is. Crazy Goose loses the 1v1 here to 9 lives with that extra ignite there from 9 lives. Actually able to take down Crazy Goose. Trying to flash away here as well. Find a little bit of few more extra seconds. Won't be able to live through both Toasty Alex and Shocky. Ace for ImPerium, but such low health bars. Please don't start the Baron.
And yeah, they chose the recall option. They chose life. We love to see it here as a full-fledged ace for the side of ImPerium. Inhibitor should be coming back up here shortly, if my maths correctly. Around the same time as we do have the Elder Dragon coming up. The game, the quote-unquote game ender. Maybe this time, maybe next time. But that is a huge boon to either side to be able to try to make the play of just going from Elder into the Baron. Very hard to contest that point with the execute buff on top.
It is also important to note here, Deathfall's mark is on the Baron, not the Elder. So if they fight over this Elder and then they win the Elder and then they also get the Baron, I believe I would like to say that's the 8th mark for Deathfall off the Baron. So I could be wrong. It's either 8 or 9. I lost count. But if it's 8, then that's going to be another large power spike on top of the Elder Armband that they would already get as well. Elder started up by Blue Shocky, going in a little bit too early, but with that W, does buy a couple of seconds. Diesel in the Death Realm against Shocky, loses the 1v1 and the Death Realm. 5k HP left on the Baron. Deathfall over the wall, looking for the spike steal. Doesn't have Lance rested available for a couple of seconds. Almost falls, will fall. Elder going over to Blue. Now Toasty Alex in a 1v1 against 9 lives. Will almost be able to secure that kill onto him. Farin's in a 1v2 against the bot lane of ImPerium. Will he be able to execute them with the Elder? Rafa for living for a very long time, but with the Elder, double kill coming out for Farin's Shocky. Last member standing here for ImPerium. Can he hold off with the 2 members of Blue?
Yeah, but the most important part is they lost so many, they can't go to the Baron. The Baron will not claim another life today. 2 is too many, as you said earlier. But they do have the Elder buff on Farin, which is a huge thing to have, as well as 9 lives with about halfway back to the hostile takeover again. I'd love to see them make a hard push down the mid lane. Again, the pain for Blue at the moment is Diesel, as we saw, is not winning out against Shocky, even in the death round. So trying to play a 4-1 split is especially hard. I think you almost have to group as 5 and just press the advantage here in the mid lane. Know that you're going to give something up, but instead, we're going to go to the Baron. They said, you can't fight us.
We're going to go to the Baron. You have Elder on, I believe, 2 members of Blue still, and both the TPs used by Juke and Avril here, so they will easily be able to secure this Baron for themselves. No contest whatsoever for ImPerium, and it's just now a matter of time of what are they going to use now with their 2-man Elder plus now 5-man Baron.
They do lose the tier 2 out on the play. Shocky recalling.
Please. No. Rafa, no. No. Oh, no. They burned a lot for that, to be fair, but that's so sad.
You know what? It's worth it at 35 minutes into the game.
Was the ward worth
wild
it?
growth.
I don't know if the ward was really worth it here. Alpha gonna flash very early on to dodge out from the roof from Toasty Alex. 9 lives. One of the 2 members with Baron will now fall. Not gonna get that kill to be able to live a little bit longer. There's Shocky taking to the death row once again, but Diesel just immediately going to be able to take out Deathfall, just like that. 4 members dead from ImPerium. Double kill at the back end of it for Diesel, but I believe he's the last member to... No, Farenz is the last member here with Baron. Crazy Goose has a lot of poke, a lot of wave clear. Can't use either of them if he is dead. Ace at 36 minutes now for Blue Esports. I think they can end the game here.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that statement. Absolutely. The Wombo combo puts you in the box. Once again, the bullet time to the poor Vandal City dweller. There is, we do have game number 1 going over to Blue Esports.
So well played by both sides. Blue just able to close out the game at the very end with... They didn't even have that many Elders. They had it on a support and a jungler. Like, out of all 5 members, I would probably say those 2 are the lowest ranked to be the most useful with an Elder. But, you know, I mean, Elder does end games fairly quickly if you are able to end it within the 90 seconds that it lasts. And Blue, they got an Elder, they got an Infernal Soul. They won the game with it.
Yeah, Blue not feeling blue on the red side of the matchup, just making really good work of the composition.
Colors.
And saying, I like colors. I can count. I can do colors. I'm like right there with
Good
third
job,
grade.
Ragnar. You've graduated preschool. I'm so proud of you. You might even get shape sticks too.
Oh, that would be so awesome. But what's awesome is this is a best of 3, and with what an amazing look that was in game 1, but some asymmetrical style matchups with like the GP mid being the biggest one. It'll be a question of what comes into game number 2, especially if they swap sides. Do you still keep precedence on the Wukong if you're the side of Imperium? Do we change it up because it was just basically a kindred draft with a strong side laner? And maybe with a more typical ADC, maybe we see a little bit of a difference.
Maybe something same, maybe something different. What I would like to see changing is less people executed. No, actually change that. More people executed by the Baron. We had 2 that game. Wasn't even 2 from the same team. It was 1 person from each team getting executed by the Baron. I think we need some more executes, guys. But with that, we will be taking a short break here now as we head into game 2 of our best of 3.
the show last night.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back now to our Game 2 here on UPL on Unified Live. Again, I am Camcom. Over there is Regdor. I got it right. Let's go. Blue Esports
I got it right
currently...
too.
Oh my god, we're just cracked. Blue Esports currently 1-0 up in their best of 3 against ImPerium. Again, this is a do or die here on the bottom side of the playoff bracket. You have to win this series to continue on in the UPL playoff bracket here. And Blue Esports, they had an excellent time here in Game 1. They could close it out here in Game 2, but it's never a 2-game series, Regdor. It's always 3 games.
You know what? I will tell you, I think it's going to be 3 games too. And I also wanted to say, before we went to break, we were talking about we've got numbers right. We've gotten colors right. I also got shapes. I got a triangle, and there's a circle. And then I also got a square and a rectangle. But rectangles aren't always squares, but squares can be rectangles. And the reason I bring this up is because different circles, different sizes, different shapes, different drafts. And I think for the side of ImPerium, they had a pretty good draft in Game 1, but we talked about it was like a basic Kindred draft. I know, watch me just like shoehorn this in to make sense. This is great.
I'm gonna keep on this logic. Keep explaining this logic to me here.
Okay, so if Kindred's a square, maybe we go to a circle. There's a lot of AP junglers that have gotten buffed on patch 12.13. Fiddlesticks being the big one that I think about in the way of like, oh, you want to play big AoE style, put me in a box kind of team fight? Congratulations. Fiddlesticks really counters that well, is able to do a lot early on the map. And then you pair that with something like, I don't know, Gnar. Gnar is actually one of the craziest blind pick top laners right now that you take out things like Irelia or those kind of volatile matchups, and Fiora can do so much on the top side. And that may sound like 2 random picks, but I think those are 2 things that could really help ImPerium synergize and kind of play against what has been Blue Esports style play thus far.
That was a lot. That was a lot of words. Not a whole lot of shapes that I heard there, Regdor. I kind of lost you when you stopped talking about the shapes. Also, Regdor took the time out of our break to figure out what a Sharpie was to draw his shapes. So that was... I was half expecting to just see like Sharpie on his hands, on his clothes, on his face. He didn't know what the heck it did. He didn't know how to open it. It was great. We're figuring out what Sharpie does. Maybe he's got shapes down. Our next objective is to figure out what markers do. So
you know what? I didn't want to get bullied on a Friday night, but we're here nonetheless, and I'll take that. And you know what's not going to be here? Juke Jouster's GP. It's gone. It's Audi 5000.
It is. And you know what else is we're on the same sides yet again. Blue Esports is not on blue side. I don't think we talked about this last game. Maybe we did at the end when we were confused about our own colors. But Blue Esports, what is their win percentage of being on red side versus blue side? Because I would expect it to be higher on blue side.
You asked me too big brain of a question. I'll figure that out at a later day and time. I ask you
questions that aren't about shapes. My bad.
Yeah, no, exactly. We're on shapes right now. Maths is a little bit harder. Throw in an X times Y equals blue. And blue is once again forced to, ban out the Seraphine on the red side. Pretty status quo there. She doesn't do core curriculum stuff. She does music. Extracurricular, the fine arts, if you will. I haven't made it there yet. We're still at elementary school.
She does have a couple of circles and a couple of lines, though. That's some shapes.
That's fair. We're just going to continue on Regdor learning how to be an adult here as we make it through the draft thus far. Nothing too crazy. I think this all continues to make sense. All strong power picks. Senna, Zeri, really focusing towards that bot side and what Imperium do not want to give away. As they do get the B1, but last time, Wukong made it.
The Ziggs B1 didn't turn out super well there for Crazy Goose in the bot lane, so I'm not expecting another 80 carry. I would like to think it is a flex pick here on the B1 potentially. Wukong, like you said, is open. That is a very easy B1 for most teams. They left it open on B1 last time, and like you said, it was an R1 easily for Blue Esports. But the Udyr that Imperium actually banned away last game, they will decide to first pick it this time.
Yeah, Udyr, super great. I love it. You just ghost, bear slap somebody. Congratulations. There's your setup. He can play with any lane.
Not to be confused with Stingray slaps.
Yeah, no.
Nowhere near Stingray slaps. No.
Bear stance over Stingray slaps. IMO.
No.
But
absolutely
we do. Well, hey, if we talk about it, it doesn't happen.
Doesn't happen. Talk about the Trundle.
Trundle, especially strong pick. Definitely has the capability up there in the top side, especially with things like, wait, I'm going to be even more excited. You know what? Let's just say it. Tarek's great. Tarek, phenomenal champion. Tarek is gone. Instead, we get Lulu. But Lulu's an amazing enabler just off of R1, R2, if it is the Trundle in the jungle, able to do so much. And Udyr likes to build armor, likes to build those stats that Trundle likes to just take and make his own. So in the isolated 1v1, that's phenomenal.
I do also think Lulu is a really good takeaway here from Rafa. I think Rafa played the Lulu really, really well in game 1, and they did B2 the Lulu. Lulu is a very good pick with Udyr as well. Lots of zoomies, but the only other champion that zoomies even better is, of course, the Yuumi. Throw a Yuumi onto an Udyr, and you're not getting the bear slap. You're getting the bear, I guess, punch. I don't know what's better than slap.
The zoom fist, the zoom smack.
We're being told smack, yes.
Yeah.
The smacks will be running around the rift here.
But we have a Ziggs again. As the B3 for Imperium, and I'm not sold on it. It was really great about a year ago. Now, I think we're more into scaling just regular DPM style ADCs. You could have the Ezreal, you could have a lot of other things that pair very well with the Yuumi in these matchups, and if Ziggs goes bot lane again, especially into Sivir Lulu, Sivir can absolutely just run down Ziggs in the 1v1, and that is somebody who can also really well match the push with that boomerang and the changes in how it can bounce back and forth between targets multiple times, is able to absolutely shred down some minion waves early on.
Blue has given me the hopium that I need here in this draft, that they're gonna lock my favorite Stingray Slappy friend here, but they're killing my hope here, man. I really just want my Stingray Slappy friend, Ben. Sivir Lulu, it's another Enchanter versus Enchanter bot lane. Again, there could be kills here if Sivir is able to find an angle where Yubi doesn't have a whole lot of mana remaining or anything like that. But other than that, I mean, it's a whole lot of sustain, a whole lot of long-range poke, and unless there's a Cicada Barrage, which this game there literally can't be, probably not that many kills in the early game.
Yeah, but one of the biggest things is the swiftness, if you will, that Sivir gets now. It is that decaying over 1.5 seconds. So if they're able to get a hit, then that means they get to have 2, maybe 3, etc. And forces, not Toasty, but Crazy Goose and Rafa to have to use those disengage abilities like the Satchel Charge to disengage away. That and the Spell Shield now giving health, these bouncing bombs actually just give Avril more time to hang out in the lane and continue to farm and get to that 2 or 3 item spike. Really have been seeing things like Kraken Slayer, Phantom Dancer into IE or LDR. And at that 3 item point, this is like the Sivir of old that just shreds your entire team and you can't get away from them.
Yeah, this is also a fairly similar playstyle that Avril had in Game 1 as well, where, similar to the Misfortune, right? It's very long-range poke. It's a whole lot of utility. You got some slows there, as well as the classic, the Victor, left unbanned. Leave this man unbanned. He shall be picked. That is written somewhere in the right terms of service, I think, for sure. Victor will be the blind R4 choice here for Jukejaster. Again, assuming that it was the 680 carry once again, and I mean the 6 Yumi. Most likely the bot lane, especially with the Yone being hovered. I would be very excited for a Yone. And it's something.
Why do you say you say these words?
I'm so excited for an Aatrox. What can I say? Bard. Let's get a Bard. Bard.
Yeah, it's actually. Come on. Wait, are they actually listening? Oh no, I hate it. This is wild.
Thank you, Toasty. Thank you.
I think the biggest thing right now for Blue is that we did see him hover the Bel'Veth earlier on. And it feels like they were wanting to see what the top lane matchup is to make sure that Trundle would be put into something good. But instead, we're just going to slam the Fiora into Aatrox. A very, from the way I remember it and the way I've seen it play out a number of times, a Fiora favored side of the house. So really great R5 there. Shocky and Diesel fought like titans, gladiators in the top lane in the last game, mostly to Shocky's win. And Shocky really controlled the side lane. So I think having the winning matchup from Diesel here with the Fiora should hopefully grant some reprieve in that side of the arena.
I don't know a whole lot about top lane. I'm not going to pretend know a whole lot about top lane. All I know is both of these champions have a lot of dashes in their kit and a lot of pressure to 1v1 and probably solo kill each other. And that's what I'm going with in my mind. Is there going to be double ignite in the top lane again? Double ignite game 1 gave us a lot of solo kills. So I would think maybe there would be another double ignite. That was a lot of fun to watch up there. Even a 1v1 level 2, right, was the very first blood there for Shocky. So I would say with the amount of dashes up here, I can't count the dashes. I unfortunately didn't graduate the same grade that Regdor did, so we're working on our way there. If the amount of dashes that we've got is a lot.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair,
problem.
when I graduated high school, I think we were on the iPhone 2 or 3. One of those.
It was 500 years ago when I graduated high school.
We didn't have Google Docs. We had to print stuff out to turn it in. All these fancy schmancy. But now more into the real world, into the future. I will have to say that Yone is one of the things I'm very excited about. We saw how well Toasty Alex was able to pilot Lysandra before, and Yone has been a pick that I've seen in competitive play that continues to build its way up the ladder, and especially using him in matchups that you think he can't do much in, which being against the Victor, being in a ranged matchup seems bad at first, but the use of the Spirit form, as well as that Q3 to close the distance, get a trade in, and to be able to retreat back before the gravity well is able to go off. Creates a new interesting way for Toasty to get some damage in.
I think what I've learned it to be is it's supposed to be ranged favored pre-6 and then melee favored at level 6, right? Because typically melee ultimates, especially that Yone ultimate, right, the Fate Sealed, is very, very powerful in the 1v1s. Juke Jouster is much more zone control. It does do a lot of damage in a 1v1, but the fact that you have to be able to keep a Yone in your ultimate to be able to do the same ultimate that, or to be able to do the same damage that a Yone ult can do with just one button without having to like worry about keeping you in it or anything like that, it's a lot harder on the range side of the matchup, but it's a lot easier for him in the first level 6s here. Juke, or the first pre-level 6 is what I'm trying to go with. Gonna go with some interesting summoner spells of choice here. Juke Jouster going for the Ghost mid lane. Haven't seen that one in a minute. Diesel as well as Shocky. Double Ignite top. Rector, you know what that means.
Death. That means death. I have it written in my notes. That means death. But speaking about death, Deathful on the Udyr, also having the Ghost. Pretty normal nowadays. I'm super interested to see what the early pathing looks like, because if Juke Jouster gets set behind the matchup, did go first strike, they're able to really cause him pain early on, blow the flash, then he's not allowed to play the lane aggressively for the next 5 minutes. That opens up so many opportunities for Deathful to vertical jungle, to do these early invades, to hook up with Toasty Alex and make a lot of things happen. And that's what I would love from ImPerium, is early game proactivity. You have a volatile top side. You have what is considered, early game, a bad matchup in mid where you're going to lose some things. So start doing some interesting pieces. Get the bear slap down early and make Juke Jouster feel the pain.
And remember, it is only a bear smack when Rafa is on Deathful. That's what our definition of a bear smack is here, when you can go zoomies very quickly here. It's a very similar matchup down here in the bot lane. Rafa is on the Yuumi, though, so unattached Yuumi is actually quite easily killed there to the poke by Avril and 9 Lives. So just being chunked out a little bit, has a couple of pots here to be able to live a little bit longer. There's level 2 on the top lane. Diesel popping it half a minion before Shocky gets a little bit of a more favorable trade. Not able to proc a Vital, unfortunate there for, could have been some extra healing, but still slightly more in the favor of Diesel with that.
And I'm super proud. Super proud. I sound like a proud dad here. I really love the choices from Avril with the TP, as well as starting with the call, because you have so little kill pressure.
Ferenz going for a very deep invade, as well as a very early invade there onto Deathful, forcing him off of his own blue buff, using the Ghost on it as well. He's pinging for assistance, but I think the blue buff is just gone. Ferenz able to just smite that one away from Deathful.
Just getting bullied off your own blue buff feels bad. But yeah, to the earlier point, Avril, not a lot of kill pressure in the lane. Chooses to take TP to be able to make these quick backs. Still a little mana intensive in the early game, as well as just picking up that Doran's Blade off of a cheater recall. It's just phenomenal, because it does take so long for Sivir to get online due to the low base numbers with this mid-scope rework. And so they're playing the lane as you would want them to get into the game at a quicker period.
A little bit more of a favorable trade there for Juke Jouster in the mid lane. Fairly low mana. That is another downfall of playing a mana versus no mana type champion, where Toasty Alex doesn't have to worry about any sort of secondary resource. Juke Jouster, though, when he does his level 6, if he is as low mana as he is now, Toasty Alex will probably be able to take at least one kill. I don't know, maybe 2 if Ferenz is also hovering here in the mid lane. Deathful even not having very much HP, and again, losing his blue buff very early on means Ferenz triple buffed him. And that's very rough to start off on as a farming jungler.
That is definitely one of the challenges in League of Legends, as... Oh my gosh!
Oh, okay! Okay, let's go, Afro!
Yeah, really intelligent, not just pure damage there.
Yeah, it
Rafa,
was just damage.
Rafa thought they could be there. They could indeed not be there at the time. Ends up dying while attached. Feels bad moment.
He is unfortunately not able to land the parry. Both flashes instantly used by the top laner. Shocky, though, with that pillar, not to be able to run in any direction other than underneath the tower of Diesel. Will fall. Deathful not even having flash, so he didn't even have to use the flash. Shocky using both of his summoner spells. Diesel as well. One more kill now in the favor of blue. Lots of fighting here on the bot side, though. Toasty Alex is about to hit level 6. Again, that is the scary point now for the mid lane matchup against Juke.
And hasn't backed yet. Still, both mid laners been locked here, not able to go back and see Boris to pick up some items. That Doran Shield doing a lot of work for Toasty here, who's been able to just keep up and farm, not actually getting zoned away from the wave, trading health for experience, which is, you know, kind of like, what's it called, a cruel pact in TFT. As we get here into the early game, the first dragon on the board, and it's been all Blue Esports favored here on the bottom side of the map, getting the first blood, keeping the push into the Ziggs and not allowing him to play the game, and Deathful gets to have some wolves.
Deathful's trying to steal away some wolves. Wake up for the lost blue buff slightly earlier. Avril with a solo, well, maybe not solo kill, but a first blood kill that early on with the Cole as well. Gets a large gold injection, even larger than you would even without, or just getting that first blood. So with that also gets to complete the full Berserker's Greaves on a very early recall. Shocky, I thought he would live. I wasn't going to talk about it. I thought for sure he would live. Diesel popping to level 6 off of that kill as well. Now 2-0 in the solo kills on the top lane.
Yeah, Diesel said this is not going to go the same way as last time. This is not your mama's top laner. And this is why like Fiora is so great, because of the ability to stop the redirect. We saw how smart Shocky was using it earlier to offset Diesel parrying it. But nonetheless, it was able to get the vital points and just get the rundown with what is the dashiness of Diesel.
Diesel bringing two friends up here on the top side. Shocky only having one, that being Deathful. Deathful pinned against the pillar. Will it fall once again? One kill now going over to Farinz. Really nice room from 9 lives up there. Just really nothing that Deathful could do. Face checking into what he thought was only Diesel. Instead, 3 members of Blue Toasty Alex popping the level 7, not even the level 6 here in the mid lane, going for a 1v1 on a Juke, but again, not a 1v1 when Juke Jouster has 2 friends with them. Farinz, roam mid, get another kill. 2-0-1 now on the Trundle.
Yeah, super smart proactive plays coming out from Blue Esports. Diesel actually making it seem like, hey, I'm just going to try to like style and get away from you, but having 2 friends in the bush, and they're able to rotate that down into the mid lane, which should hopefully continue to trend down
Diesel.
Towards the bottom side.
Oh my gosh, Diesel! He's a family! Oh my gosh! Oh, poor Shocky. Shocky does not get to play League of Legends anymore. Deathful, like, also very much not getting to play League of Legends. Not allowed to touch his red buff. You see Farinz smiting that one away, killing him now on top of it as well. 9 lives, completely forgetting bot lane exists, and instead just getting 4 assists across the map.
Yeah, absolutely. Avril will scale. Avril just needs to go ahead and get some XP. That's all we really need from you. Just continue to scale up on that call. But 9 lives and Farron's just, you know, taking the Mr. Worldwide trip around the map, picking up kills in top lane, rotating it to mid, killing the enemy jungler, then going and picking up the first Drake, and just rinse, wash, repeat. Now 9 lives says, let's get a kill in the bottom lane.
Oh my goodness, 9 lives saw a bot lane and said, I'm gonna get a double kill all on my own here. Avril, not a whole lot of mana there. Unfortunately, not gonna give it that last final take of damage to secure the kill on a Crazy Goose, but my gosh, 9 lives, he just almost 1v2 at the bot lane.
Yeah, 9 lives, 4 assists out of 7 kills. Just to make that real, 9 lives is going all around the map here in the early game and being super proactive for the side of Blue Esports, who now are looking to contest this Herald, 3 members strong from ImPerium there.
3 members strong from ImPerium looking for the trade onto the first dragon that Blue Esports was already able to take, but they only had the 3-man advantage for a couple of seconds. Diesel walk back now from Fountain, that full HP 301 on top and jungle respectively here for Blue Esports. So you can't really take that fight. Deathful or Shocky are very, very far behind compared to their counterparts.
And this continued topside pressure is just allowing so many things to happen, as well as that early kill on the bottom side. Both side lanes on the map are okay in the state that they're at and don't require too much attention at the moment, which allows, you know, just to have a Pocket Lulu enabling this Trundle all across the map. And having, like, Pocket Lulu, it's not like the Zoomies. You don't get to smack people, but you get to bonk the living heck out of them here as another neutral objective goes over to the side of Blue Esports.
I mean, 9 lives, he can't go Zoomies, but he can apparently 1v2 the bot lane. So, I mean, you got that going for you right here. Toasty Alex, I'm almost scared for Toasty Alex now. Face checking 9 lives. It's a very backwards thought process here. Shocky, really nice to be there landing onto Farinz, but unfortunately just just outside of tower range. If that tower shot would have landed, it is a potential shutdown there for Shocky, but it's probably about a pixel off of tower range.
That's all you need, as right now, Toasty Alex taking a little bit more damage there. Avril, though, is now enabled.
Crazy Goose, not a whole lot of mana, does get the knockback closer to his tower, but will not be fast enough. Avril now on the board with her second kill of the game. Really nice rums once again coming out from 9 lives. Deathful and Rafa, they got the zoomies, they got the bear smacking across the map, but unfortunately not going to be smacking fast enough to save Crazy Goose's life.
Right, and the game's continuing to get harder to play for the side of Imperium. You're kind of bleeding on the top side. The safe pick from Crazy Goose that was supposed to be able to just, you know, vibe out is getting run down in these matchups. And Avril continuing to show how powerful New Sivir can be. Some people say utility.
Yes.
I say DPS machine.
No, wait, no. I agreed and then I disagreed. Hold on a second. Crazy Goose. I think he could probably save his tower for a few more seconds here, but you know who can save their tower is definitely Shocky up here on the top side. Very early flash. Just trying to flash to make Ferenz take a couple more tower shots. One more tower shot again could have secured a kill. Droppable to flash, ignite plus ultimate there for Shocky. Still not able to live, I mean, the 1v3 under his tower. I mean, it's very hard to live a 1v3 under a tower, but again, just losing that much more experience. Now down, I believe, 2 levels. I can't say his level right now, but I think he's down 2 levels to Diesel.
This is indeed, this is how you make use of the counter pick. Diesel not choosing a neutralizing, but choosing to go into the volatility, and really is paying dividends. And now bot lane's just winning in the isolated 2v2. So, you know, if you're the side of Imperium, the way back into the game is trying to get inside of the loop that is Blue Esports thus far, and really hopefully get Toasty Alex unleashed. He hasn't been able to really make any rotations to these fights, but like we talked about before, the fates sealed and his ability to lay down a ton of damage in that spirit form with alternating AP and AD kind of damage. All those things equal, well, we can kind of neutralize some of the gold differential in just the sheer kit that is Toasty Alex.
Diesel, I was going to say he might be caught out up here on the top side, but he has 2 levels over literally everyone else right here. Is 4 levels over Rafa even, so it's going to be very hard to catch out this little lone Fiora on the top side. And also, you left Avril alone on the bot lane here as well. Avril bringing down a couple of her own teammates to make sure she could probably take this first tower now on her own without even the help of a first Rift Herald for herself on the bot lane. Lots of extra gold, lots of extra plating and experience being funneled into Avril just because 9 lives is never in lane.
Yeah, not only that, it, you know, has this nice 30 CS differential already sitting on the Kraken Slayer. Just kind of sadly Crazy Goose.
Crazy Goose almost just dead here. Once again, one final auto attack will secure the kill for Avril, but they both fall. Very unfortunate dive there for Blue Esports. 2 of the first kills now back in the favor of Imperium. Diesel up here on the top side as well. In a 1v4, trying to turn it back around. Has a lot of extra healing, but unfortunately with the final proc, will not be able to survive the 1v4. That is a massive shutdown being dropped on the top side, but what are you losing? You almost lost your inhibitor.
Yeah, the map kind of exploded for a moment there.
Oh my God.
You have a 1v4 on the top side. Imperium doing kind of what I was saying is get Toasty Alex unlocked, get him involved in these trades. But sadly, that happening at committing 4 to the top side and almost losing your tower on the bot side. Well, that's, you know, the dive happened how the dive did. But you commit so many resources to the top side, you end up losing out on nearly 3 towers in the mid lane and now the dragon as well. For the low price of 1 Fiora shutdown.
Yeah, no, that is an open inhibitor in the mid lane here at 13 minutes. That's not just 3 towers. That is a fully exposed inhibitor. If there's any sort of ace in the next 5 minutes, that could just be the end of the game now. They took a lot of pressure in the mid lane just from that one Shelly push down here in the bot lane as well. Also turned up slightly well for Imperium. Both the side lanes went about as well as they possibly could for them. It was just unfortunate that absolutely nothing went right in the mid lane.
Well, you know, when there's nobody in the mid lane, it's hard for you to contest. As now Juke Jouster's up here on the top side. Shocky and him, not same. Core Drinker is now finally complete, but does have that Leandries.
Juke Jouster, only member up here on the top side here, buying a little bit of extra seconds here for Avril to show up, as well as 9 lives. Lots of movement speed here from the Shrillies, as well as the Sivir ult. Super Mega Death Bomb will do a little bit of extra poke damage here to Juke Jouster, but with the amount of healing and shielding that 9 lives provides to the whole team, really doesn't do a whole lot. Crazy Goose also very far behind, only has a Leandris completed here. Barons fishing for some sort of pillar here, will not connect on the knockup, but without much follow-up CC or damage even from the rest of Blue Esports. Mostly here for zoning, keeping them off of this outer turret should just be easily secured now by Blue.
Right, and this is what Blue Esports gets to do with, you know, a 6K gold lead at 15 minutes into the game. They just get to overload whatever side of the map and force ImPerium to try to match them. Toasty, Alex, and Diesel are going to do a little bit of a fight, but Toasty wants no part of that right now. That is a level 11 Fiora, you know, 4 and 1 right now. Toasty not having the itemization or levels to deal with that at the moment. So they just get to kind of play 4-1. We're going to take the Herald while Diesel does Diesel things in mid lane.
Yeah, Diesel will absolutely do Diesel things. Maybe not in the mid lane anymore, as there's no towers for Diesel to even Diesel taken over, but maybe Diesel can go Diesel on the bot lane, where Diesel can do lots of Dieseling on the bot lane outer turret that still is able to be Diesel.
Dieseling, dying, don't know. That's all I had. That's the only D's I can figure out.
I've had it a lot longer than you do. Let's go.
Yeah, I'll add alliteration to my list of things I need to learn. I'll get a
Is
tutor.
it alliteration or is it Dieseliteration?
No, it's alliteration. I checked. I googled. Next dragon is up in 2 minutes, and so far, again, ImPerium kind of trailing behind what has been the side lane domination of Blue Esports. 9 Lives has completed the Mr. Worldwide Challenge, assisting in kills in every lane at some point in this game.
And only dropping one of his lives for it here is back up here on the top side, Shocky. Not allowed to play League of Legends whatsoever. Diesel plus Farinz reminding him, we will always dive you. Will we be successful? We were the first couple times. This time, maybe not so much. Avril finding herself now in the 1v1 against Crazy Goose. Flashing in a couple more autos. Will be able to secure yet another solo kill onto Crazy Goose. Not even needing the help of 9 lives anymore. Toasty Alex looking for some sort of solo kill on a Juke Jouster. Finding a little bit of extra time there with the stasis, but the autos from Toasty Alex far outweigh the stopwatch. Finally a kill back in the mid lane here for Toasty.
And Toasty is on the board. Now, this may not be your best plan.
Oh no. Oh no. Toasty did burn the shield bow there against the 1v1 against Juke Jouster. So with that, not a whole lot of survivability remaining to live against Farinz, but I mean, he'll take the 1v1.
Oh, absolutely. That is, you know, it's a little feather in the cap. We'll say Avril playing extremely aggressive, flashing into the enemy base. Given there's not a tier 3 tower there, but nonetheless, chasing the Crazy Goose to the ends of the world to make sure to win out in that 1v1. And smartly, they let the inhibitor fall. Feed free gold into the base. They cannot play on the mid lane, and it creates a very interesting space for Blue Esports now entering into the 1v1. Diesel, Deathful.
Dieseling Deathful here. Deathful does have a cat friend, though, to help him do the bear smack that he was set out to do from Champ Select here. And with that, is able to actually run away from Diesel. I don't think that he'll be able to kill Diesel in a 1v1, but he's at least able to run away. Shocky might not be so lucky. Second Rift Herald drop now on the bot lane. That's where Diesel gets to do even more Dieseling. Rift Herald gets to take 1.5 towers, getting that last tower shot onto the inhibitor turret. Lots of extra tower damage in favor of Blue Deathful. He's just here a distraction. You know, Diesel, he didn't even have to Diesel for the bot lane turret. It just fell.
No, Diesel is absolutely just being mean. Is just absolutely just bullying Deathful and Rafa around the map and saying, no, you don't get to go back to your base. You don't get to try to stop us from sieging. You get to play the Benny Hill music as you run around the rift. And now Soul Point for Blue Esports. And once again, it is a, oh my gosh, Infernal Soul. That's the one. I'm still learning shapes, okay? It helps the little squiggly red. And shapes and colors. Oh my gosh.
It's shapes and colors. It really is.
We're getting there, ladies and gentlemen. I am truly almost not dragging my knuckles on the ground anymore, like a full-fledged human.
Maybe instead of drawing like weird, I don't know, triangles and circles, squares, whatever the heck you drew, you should draw the dragon symbols instead. I think that would teach you shapes far better. That's what they should teach you in preschool when they teach you shapes. It's dragon symbols as the shapes.
You should learn wave management in 3rd grade.
Yes.
Top lane matchups by 5th grade. This sounds like not a good way for society to move forward. But this Baron may not be able to move forward for much longer, as Blue Esports are going to have a fight.
Taken down to 2k HP Deathful, looking for some sort of steal here, but stealing straight into the waiting arms of 9 lives. Really nice double man. Nagatostialix not going to land onto anyone. Goes into 4 members, instantly polymorphed, instantly taken down. Baron has fully reset. 3 members of ImPerium are still here, trying to still fight, keep them off the Baron for as long as they can. Shocky with the help of Rafa buys a little bit of extra seconds, but that's a roaming Yuumi. That's a very dead Yuumi. That's a now almost triple kill. Oh, no, double kill for Avril. 9 lives securing the final kill. Ace for Blue Esports. Bot lane inhibitor god. That's the ace. That's what I said again, Ace. I think you just end the game.
Yeah, absolutely. At 21 minutes into the game, Blue Esports just said, we'll take the red side, and we're going to absolutely obliterate you in game number 2. As just poor Rafa tries to do something, doesn't work.
Doesn't work. Blue Esports will be moving on against ImPerium in the UPL lower half of the bracket really strongly. Game 2, they take the 2-0. That's the best you can do.
That was an emphatic statement from Blue Esports of just laying kingdom, for lack of better terms. and just for clarity, because we talked about it at the beginning, this is the 3 seed from the Ocean Division, 2-0ing the 2 seed from Cloud. That I would call that a bit of an upsetty spaghetti moment, or an upset. I think that's the way normal people say it. But nonetheless, just a huge...
Are you normal, Victor?
I'm not normal.
Okay, thank you. Clarifying.
Yeah.
Okay, what?
I don't know. You called me weird, and now I don't know. I just want to say Avril on the Sever, showing the strength of it, not as just utility, but the damage per second, was able to just run down people in these team fights and show the strength of this newly worked champion.
Yeah, I mean, they left Avril down in the bot lane all on her own. They were putting so much pressure on the top side for trying to keep Diesel out of the game from 1v9ing. They put so much pressure on the top side they forgot about bot lane, and all of a sudden, you've lost your mid and your bot lane inhibitor. Like, top lane was the only one to not lose their inhibitor, and that's just because Diesel was kind of locked up in the top side.
I don't know if, I mean, they were locked in there with him. It felt like on the Fiora, and it is exactly that, of trying to like salvage the top side of the map, but then everything else kind of imploded, and sadly Alex just wasn't able to impact the game early on enough because he had some strength on the Yone, but it had already kind of spiraled too far out. And that's what I love about 12-13, and I love about this durability patch, is opting into the volatility. And Blue Esports absolutely said, we're going to be volatile, we're going to make these heavy rotations early and force action on the map.
Super well played there by Blue, taking the 2-0 here on the best of 3 for the night. But that's all the time we have for you here on the UPL Unified stream. Again, I've been Camcom, that's been Ragnar, Hyper's been the producer in the back, clicking the buttons. Thank you so much, Hyper, for doing that. I hope you all have a fantastic rest of your evening, and we will catch you back here next Friday for some more UPL action.